Hello, everybody, and today I'm here to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So this came out 2022 of April, and I did not see this in theaters, but I was going to watch it on Paramount Plus, but I just never got around to it until I finally decided to check out Sonic 2 a few months back. And I gotta say, this is definitely a very fun sequel and a lot of nostalgia for Sonic fans. This is where Sonic teams up with Tails, the fox, to take down the return of Dr. Robotnik or Egghead, whatever you want to call him, as he also teams up with another hedgehog called Knuckles. So, what I like about this movie is definitely Knuckles. Knuckles is a cool character, in my opinion. If I had to think of another Sonic character besides Sonic and Shadow, I would pick Knuckles. Because I just love how he's red and he's like the buff one of the group. And he's voiced by the awesome Idris Elba. Sorry if I said his name wrong, but that he's a very good actor. We got Heindoff playing Knuckles the Hedgehog. And he does it really well. He definitely sounds like Knuckles. You just need that deep voice of Knuckles. And he's definitely like the serious one of the group. But what this main movie is mainly about is Sonic has to stop Dr. Robotnik from using a crystal thing he's trying to get so he can take over the universe and destroy Sonic after he was sent to that mushroom world. And we actually see how he got back. He was using his limited technology to open a wormhole back to his world, and he used Sonic's like little fur to get back. But I do like the scene where he gets jumped by Knuckles and the two team up. But while this is all going on, Sonic is doing his best to be a sort of superhero, if you want to call Sonic a superhero or not. But James Marsden's character, Tom, he doesn't like Sonic doing this because he feels Sonic is just being irresponsible, and Sonic goes through the arc of learning responsibility and maturity. That's his character arc in this movie, and he actually does it pretty well in this movie. But while that's all going on, James Marsden and I forgot how to say her name, Trina Summers, her character, they're going to their sister's wedding from the last movie. The sister from the last movie is getting married, and the two are going to the wedding. They even use like this. I do like how they use the Sonic ring to actually go there without actually having to use transportation to get there. They just quickly do it. But while this whole wedding thing's going on, Sonic is ambushed. Well, even after he's binging at his house, he's just partying as much as he can. But I even like how he cleans the house after he gets a call from Tom. But eventually he's ambushed by Egghead and Knuckles, and it leads to a fight. And I even like how the dog was too scared that he literally had to run away. We don't see the dog again until the end of the movie. But Sonic is mainly getting goose chased by Knuckles, and it leads to a brawl between the two until Tails comes into the rescue, and Tails introduces himself, and apparently he's been watching Sonic this whole time. But once he found out Knuckles was going after him, he just knew he had to go find Sonic. I also wonder, why didn't Tails go look for Sonic, even though Sonic's been trying to get home this whole time? But I don't know if that's a pothole, but I'll just go with whatever this movie does. But Sonic eventually he teams up with Tails, and they have to go to this like winter area to find the crystal that Egghead's looking for. Apparently, he learned about it through Knuckles, and apparently, what this crystal is, it actually is supposed to turn. Spoilers! It's supposed to turn Sonic into Super Sonic. If you know your Sonic lore. But we actually do get the backstory. I'm not versed in the Sonic lore. If you know it, you can comment it below. And I'm sure the Hedgehog Nerd will comment it below. I hope he does. But, yeah. So, they're after this crystal. And they're going through this maze. They have to go through the maze of this thing. But eventually we get this very cool snow chase scene. I kind of jumping a bit, but Sonic did go out partying with Tails. They are actually, it shows that their bond was really good, that they're willing to party, and they actually have this dance off with this one dude. I thought that was funny. But eventually, when they do encounter Robotnik and his army of robots, they get into like this big snow chase. But yeah, what leads to it is during this whole movie, we get this wedding scene, like I mentioned earlier, and that movie, it probably drags the movie a little, in my opinion. Like it's kind of just there to give James Marsden something to do in the movie, but he mainly is having sort of beef with his fiance's, like her sister's husband. Hit that character. I'm stumbling on my words. Sorry, but he mainly just tries to joke around with James Marsden. But this beef kind of is just going how you expect for these kind of situations in movies. But the wedding's interrupted when Sonic calls James Marsden on his phone during the ceremony, and it turns out he was supposed to hold on to the ring for the wedding, but he accidentally gave it the portal ring instead of the wedding ring. But because Sonic lost his rings during the battle, he ends up having to open the wormhole, and he actually punches the husband, and he opens the portal for Sonic, and then snow comes in, and Tails is injured, but Sonic is, of course, has to find his way to Egghead during this whole thing. And we get more scenes of Tina Sumper's character and the sister. That movie kind of drags out. Their scenes kind of just drag the movie a little, in my opinion. Like, they're not focusing on Sonic, and it kind of just slows the movie a bit, and it kind of made me just want to see Knuckles more. But what happens next is Robotnik does find the crystal, and he ends up going through the temple and he goes through all the traps with Knuckles, and it turns out he's just using Knuckles, of course, and he eventually does betray him. But after this whole thing, Sonic decides that because he feels he's done too much, he has to do it on his own, and he says he has to mature. But before anyone can tell him anything, he goes to the temple, and when he goes through the temple, I actually like that scene where he's going through, and it actually feels like a Sonic level. But eventually he does, before Knuckles can get betrayed, Sonic interrupts it. But eventually Robotnik harnesses the power of the crystal, and he becomes ultra powerful. And he even uses the servant from the last movie, who has a big crush on Ed. And he even uses like a little cup and as like a little heart to say that he loves him. But he eventually uses him to build Egghead's little giant machine, which is just a giant version of Dr. Egghead. And basically the final battle of this movie is Sonic teams up with Knuckles and Tails. Knuckles decides to join Sonic after realizing Robotnik was using him, and all three of them team up, and Tails finally uses a plane after getting healed up, and they all team up to fight Robotnik. But eventually, I think during this whole battle, it's a very entertaining battle, but eventually Robotnik actually loses his crystal, and Sonic gets it, but it accidentally breaks. But James Marsden and Tina Sumpers team up with Sonic, and they actually help him out, and they actually refer to him as family, which is nice. I'm jumping a lot in this review, but Sonic eventually actually is able to use the power to save all his friends, and he becomes Super Sonic, and it looks super cool. I even liked how Knuckles said that he's no longer Sonic. He's his own like godlike being, and he's able to stop Robotnik, of course, and he falls into the pit of fire, but of course he survives since he's going to be in the third movie. But yeah, Sonic eventually gives up the power, but he uses it to grab a chili dog, of course, which was nice. It makes me hungry for chili dogs. So yeah, that's something I can relate to for Sonic. But he gives up his power, and Tails wonders why. But Sonic says he's got some growing up to do. But the movie ends on a high note as the characters all play baseball. Sonic was trying to find friends to play with baseball in the first movie, so yeah, he finally gets that in this movie. So that's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think this is a lot of fun, and I know I was nitpicking a little in this review. Like, I thought some scenes were kind of just dragging the movie a lot, but since I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, so I can't really say if this movie really amazed me, but if you're a big-time Sonic fan, you're probably going to really like this movie. But yeah, I'd probably give the Sonic 2 movie probably a 8 out of 10. So yeah, this is preparation for the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, and we also get a post-credits scene, which is Shadow the Hedgehog. And he's going to be voiced by the amazing Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, voicing Shadow the Hedgehog. That is like a perfect choice in my opinion. And I look forward to seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie, and maybe I'll review it on this channel for my 2024 movie reviews. So yeah, tell me what you think of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and am I gonna review Sonic the Knuckles show? I'm probably not, since I'm busy watching a bunch of other stuff. Maybe I'll get around to the Knuckles show eventually. So yeah, my pros for this movie is it's a fun movie. And the voice cast is really good. Ben Schwartz is obviously great as Sonic the Hedgehog. Idris Elba is as amazing as Sonic. And they actually got the voice of Tails to voice Tails in this movie. So yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, and the animation for the CGI of all the hedgehogs, they look really good. And Jim Carrey is hilarious as Dr. Robotnik. I love that mustache. It's perfect for Jim Carrey. And this might be Sonic the Hedgehog 3 might be his last movie. It's wild that I also think it's wild that Jim Carrey, his last movie might be Sonic the Hedgehog. And he's done a lot more things than just before Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, if this is your last movie, Jim Carrey, you've had an amazing career. I hope your retirement goes well for you. But anyway, this movie is a lot of fun, so check it out. So that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.